After a 5-hour week of The Bachelor, we're not finished yet, as we've got a preview to break down for next Monday's episode, and then we're back at it for another week. And you better believe this upcoming episode is going to be a pivotal one for Peter, as he makes his decision on which of the final 6 remaining women will be headed home for hometowns, and which will be headed home alone. And be sure to stick around for the end of the video, as I've done the math and cross-referenced the previews, and I have who I think are the top 4. Now, typically this final 6 episode is a very structured one, so there's a lot I think we can figure out on that basis. But, first things first, if you're new to the channel, please no posting outright spoilers in the comment section, and if you want to watch the preview in full beforehand, I'll post a link to that in the description below. Alright? Let's see what episode 7 has in store for us.
I have 6 amazing women here.
So it's finally time for Natasha to get her one-on-one date. We sleuthed this date out way back in the first preview for the season based off of this photo and the fountain in the background, to figure out that they were in Peru. Which lines up perfectly with the dancers here, who are performing a traditional scissor dance which originates from Peru. Notice the scissors in hand they are using to cut through the air. And then of course there's Peter here doing like a karate chop or something. Natasha's one-on-one here will play an important role in the structure of this pre-hometown episode that we see time and time again, but we'll get into that in a bit.
I love what we have.
Me too.
We're not stopping until we get to the top. It feels just so good.
This clip starts with Victoria F real quick, and then moves into our second one-on-one for the week, which is with Kelsey. For this shot of Victoria, all I'll say for now is take note of what Peter's wearing right here. We're gonna see it again later on. Now here, this shot of Kelsey's one-on-one, we've seen it before in the previews alongside this one, so things are starting to come together now. For this one-on-one, the producers tell Peter and Kelsey to just go into the mountains or something, I don't know, have fun and kiss a bunch.
Got it! We got it! You make me so freaking happy. It's insane.
And here is our third one-on-one. When I said this final 6 pre-hometowns episode is very structured, this is why. We often see the same or similar format for it. Either 2 one-on-ones in the episode and then a 4-on-1 at the end, or 3 one-on-ones and then a 3-on-1 at the end.
Like every single second, it's just better and better. I'm definitely falling in love with her.
This time it looks like we're getting the 3 one-on-one structure, with Madison filling up that last slot. They catch a fish and hang out on a boat before a kiss in the street, and an audio clip of Peter saying, "I'm definitely falling in love with her." Now, while this audio clip could be Peter talking about anyone, Madison really is the frontrunner in my mind. So as far as I'm concerned, she won't be going anywhere this episode.
You have given me reasons to doubt.
Now, of course, if Natasha, Kelsey, and Madison are getting the one-on-ones this episode, that means Victoria F here is going to be on the 3-on-1. Which, if past episodes are any indication, we know she's going to take so well, as Victoria is great under pressure.
Send her home. Chop chop, let's go.
So first here's Victoria walking off to a corner, because that's become a tradition this season, and then we have Kelly, who's going to be our second woman on the 3-on-1. I'll say all of this Victoria F crying that's been going on is not indicative of anything really, like her going home here, as we know she's been crying pretty much any time she's alone with Peter.
This is too serious for me to not be brutally honest.
We're going to pause here as it appears Peter is sending someone home. Take a look at what Peter's wearing. Now remember this shot with Victoria F? Same jacket. But this doesn't mean it's Victoria F that he's sending home. What it does tell us is that Peter does send someone home on the 3-on-1. So at minimum, one of Victoria F, Hannah Ann, and Kelly is gone. The only world in which all 3 would stay is if Peter's one-on-ones went so bad that he sent home 2 of the 3 women from the one-on-ones. But there's no way that would happen, because if it did, then why would we even need this 3-on-1? All 3 would be staying. Now there's also a world in which Peter sends home 2 women on this 3-on-1, and that's if each of Madison, Kelsey, and Natasha all receive roses on their one-on-ones, leaving only 1 woman left for that hometown slot. But I also don't think that will happen. I have reason to believe it will be just 1 person going home on this 3-on-1, and who that person is. But we'll get to that near the end.
That's such a coward excuse, you can't say that. Like I don't want to tell you goodbye.
Okay, now things are getting serious. First, with Kelsey seemingly calling out Peter, saying, "It's such a cowardly excuse, you can't say that." But again, I'm cautious of saying this is an argument or a call out towards Peter, even though we've seen a lot of the women call out Peter this season. Kelsey saying it's such a cowardly excuse, you can't say that, could be her talking about the other women. It could also be her talking about herself even, apologizing for something she said in the past few episodes. Sure, it could be a call-out, but I'm saying there's ample possibility it's a fake-out too. Following that, we have Hannah Ann on the 3-on-1 with Peter, saying she doesn't want to tell him goodbye. And if you really need proof that this is from the 3-on-1, here, take a look at this glimpse we get of him and then his shirt. The same shirt he's wearing here. So Hannah Ann here saying she doesn't want to say goodbye is surely just her pleading her case for Peter to keep her, as Peter's making his decision on which of the 3 women to send home.
If you're weak, you're not gonna last. The weak get cut.
Hopefully that bitch doesn't come back.
Yes, the Bachelor hitting us with the classic dude taking away the suitcase from someone on a one-on-one. Now that's a job I'd love. So first, I'll mention the soundbite of someone saying, "If you're weak, you're not going to last. The weak get cut." It really sounds like Kelly, but ultimately that's irrelevant. What is relevant is the simple fact that we now know someone goes home on a one-on-one. It's Bachelor tradition that if someone goes home on a one-on-one and doesn't get a rose, a guy shows up to take away their luggage while all the other women not on the date watch in horror. Or with utter happiness. Now, the big fake-out I think they planted in this preview is the part here with Natasha. She says, "Hopefully that person I really like doesn't come back." Which, placed after the shot of the luggage being taken away, might make you think that she's talking about the person going home on the one-on-one. But the person that I think really goes home on the one-on-one is actually Natasha. And here, she's talking about Kelsey or Madison before they head out on their one-on-one. Likely Kelsey, with how much more involved in the drama she's been. Or if it is Madison, it's because maybe she sees Madison as a frontrunner, and it'd be nice if the frontrunner left. And here we end on Hannah Ann crying. And that's the preview. Now, Hannah Ann crying could be so many things. Could be her going home, could be her feeling the pressure, could be her practicing because Peter really responds well to tears.
You okay?
I'm not.
What's going on? This is what I want to see.
But okay, we've watched the preview. How is the next episode going to likely play out? We've figured that there are going to be 3 one-on-ones and a 3-on-1, just like last season of The Bachelorette. There, one person went home on a one-on-one and one went home on a 3-on-1, which I think is also the most likely bet for next episode. But let's look into this and go case by case, starting with the safest bet to stay, Madison. She's getting a one-on-one, she's had the strongest edit all season, Peter seems super into her, and there's just no way she's going home. So she'll get a rose. Then we have Kelsey. Like Madison, this is going to be her second one-on-one of the season. Now, they did throw in a little clip of her possibly calling out Peter, but I'd still say she's less likely than Natasha to go home on her one-on-one. Peter's been siding with Kelsey all season. She's getting an additional one-on-one, and sure, she's not as safe a bet as Madison, but she's definitely a safer pick than our last one-on-one of the episode, which is Natasha. So we know that someone goes home on a one-on-one based off of the structure of how this final 6 episode usually goes, when there are 3 one-on-ones that is, and also because of the shot of the guy taking away the suitcase. Oh, and if you're entertaining the idea that this might be him taking away a suitcase from the 3-on-1, usually when there's a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1, they have the suitcases of each of the women beside each other lined up, to make it suspenseful when the guy walks in, like, ooh, he's here, which of the suitcases is he taking away? This, however, is a lone suitcase, so it will be from a one-on-one. So with this knowledge, if anyone's going home on the 3 one-on-ones, it has to be Natasha, right? This will be her first one-on-one, and we've seen very little of the two of them together. Just a bit here and there in the last couple of episodes. Compare that to Madison and Kelsey, who've had a bunch of time with Peter and a bunch of screen time on the show. So, has to be Natasha going, right? Which would leave 2 roses available for the 3-on-1 with Victoria F, Hannah Ann, and Kelly. So, let's talk about this 3-on-1 then. I imagine the women are getting a bit tired of Victoria F. Kelly sure seems to be based off of this preview, but she's definitely going to stay. We've yet to see this shot of her from the previews where she freaks out, and it also really looks like an American street in the background. So it's safe to say that Victoria makes it through. And why not? Peter seems just super into her despite how odd their one-on-ones have been, which will leave Hannah Ann and Kelly. But only one of these two has had shots we still haven't seen yet from the previews, and that's Hannah Ann. First, this shot. A sunset dip between Peter and Hannah Ann. Or almost surely Hannah Ann, unless one of the other women puts on a wig just to look like her. There's also this shot from way back, which leaves the only one left who could possibly go home, Kelly. We've seen nothing more from her, and it just makes sense. Compare Kelly to Victoria F. Peter has talked to both of them about being reserved, but when it came to Victoria, Peter was fighting so much more. And at the end of the day, I think this is the best thing for Kelly. Go home now, get out of this drama. Because really, there's no way out of this. It has to be Kelly. Say for the sake of an argument, Natasha goes and Kelsey goes. That means 4 women left for hometowns: Madison, Victoria F, Hannah Ann, and Kelly. But in that event, why are we then having this 3-on-1 that we see in the preview? Doesn't make sense. And say Kelsey does go. That would just mean Natasha's the one who stays. All math points to Kelly going no matter what the scenario. Okay, and before we go, I also have a bit of bonus sleuthing. Does Sydney return? Now, this is not my sleuthing. A savvy Instagram user forwarded this on to me, thanks Michaela, a post of Sydney's. What's important here is what she's wearing, because it matches this shot from a previous preview that we haven't seen yet. So, does Sydney return? Or is this footage that's just been cut from the show? One explanation is that this is actually Victoria F, and what she's wearing she borrowed from Sydney. We've seen contestants borrow outfits before, like these earrings from this year, and the salmon jacket from last Bachelorette. It could also just be a coincidence that both of them have the same outfit, but I'm not usually one to believe in coincidences on this show. Either way, great sleuthing. And there you have it. The preview for The Bachelor Week 7, I guess? Feels like we skipped one because of the extra episode this week. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video, and be sure to like and subscribe if you did. We'll be back on Monday for more drama as the final 6 look to make it to hometowns. So until then, Bachelor Fantake, out.
If you're weak, you're not gonna last. The weak get cut.